Honestly, this story has been a long time coming. Don't look at me like that, it's not like I purposefully forgot to write it, I just accidentally didn't remember. You can forgive me, right? Maybe this little peace offering will smooth it over. How about I finish the story up for you? Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. We've also noticed that a lot of folks who watch our videos aren't actually subscribed to the channel. We understand that YouTube does do a very good job of getting you what you want to watch, but if you want to make sure that you don't miss any videos, and if you want to support us at the Amagi, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all of our social media. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. A short recap for those who don't quite remember what's going on. After the deaths of Minato and Kushina, Jiraiya was summoned back to Konoha to take care of the freshly orphaned Naruto. Jiraiya was not too keen on the idea, given that he wasn't much of a father figure to anyone. Jiraiya really lacks self-confidence in himself, but alas, he was press-ganged into being the new guardian of this child, which led to him adapting and growing, learning from the experience. The little boy was raised by an eccentric old sage and the toads of Mount Myoboku. It sounds like the start to any great shonen story. As Naruto grew, Jiraiya continued to take care for and love him, but at a certain age he began to teach the boy ninjutsu and help the boy overcome the hurdles presented by his position as the Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tails Demon Fox. Naruto would slowly grow stronger until Jiraiya thought it would be a good idea to try and introduce version 2. Naruto attempted version 2, but he failed to control it and ended up hurting himself. Taken to the hospital, Jiraiya and Hiruzen considered their next steps in helping him. Hiruzen believed it was not a good idea to continue training him to use version 2, and instead believed he should take time to focus on his life and career as a shinobi, believing that the emotional control that he would inevitably learn on mission would be enough to help Naruto overcome his trials in attaining version 2. So as Naruto healed, Jiraiya decided to teach him other things. He told him about his parents and about what it meant to be a truly strong shinobi. He would proceed to teach him Rasengan and Sage Mode, two abilities well known by Naruto's father, one even being invented by him. Naruto and Jiraiya were having fun, growing stronger and having their bond grow tighter, but eventually Jiraiya was sent on mission to the village hidden in the mist to investigate the uncharacteristically bad behavior of their Mizukage, Yagura. While there, he met Ao, Zabuza, the Demon Brothers, Kisame Hoshigaki, and Haku, the latter of which Naruto became good friends with. They were forced to kill Yagura in order to obtain the information that they needed. In the end, the only thing they learned was that Yagura had been placed under Genjutsu by the Akatsuki, the leader of which being a man by the name of Madara. Sadly, Haku also perished during this fight. This was Naruto's first taste of what the shinobi world had to offer. It was the reality of things, and Naruto was left heartbroken. But alas, that was where the story had to go. And that was pretty much where we left things up to that point. Naruto was out in the field meditating. He felt the sun on his back. He felt the wind in his hair. He felt the grass moving below his legs. It was alive. The grass, the sun, the wind, the energy of life drifted across the vast plains and deep forests like the waves of the ocean across a rocky shoreline. And Naruto was a part of that process. He was one with nature, and nature was one with him. A serenity like the undisturbed surface of a lake, the whistling of birds, and the song of crickets together working in tandem to create an orchestral piece as beautiful as anything ever written by the world's greatest composers. There was comfort, peace. Naruto almost felt as if he were about to enter a dreamlike state, a point between lucidity and the unconscious. It was here that he felt truly at one with everything. His breathing was light and synchronized to his heartbeat, which seemed to echo into the blue skies as a single, simple acknowledgement to the world that he too was alive. He was generating energy as well as absorbing it. Give and take, push and pull, tui and la, symbiosis, to offer and take what was required to make both himself and nature work optimally. As he breathed out, the carbon dioxide from within his lungs traveled to the trees, fueling them, allowing them to make new air to breathe. This air would then be breathed by other animals that would produce carbon dioxide and in turn more air. All of this generated energy now swirled about Naruto like a vortex, a colorful painting that could not be seen with eyes, but only with the heart. Jiraiya stood there by the porch and watched Naruto as he trained his Sage Mode. He was so strong now. It impressed him to see the level of dedication Naruto was showing with regards to Sage Mode. Whenever Naruto needed a moment to rest, a moment to gather emotionally, or a moment to calm, he would wander out here. To just get a glimpse of how serene Naruto truly was at this time, Jiraiya had noticed a fire anthill slowly moving from the west to the east, the more it was disturbed by the wild foxes and tanuki in the forest. Naruto refused to meditate anywhere else away from that spot, and the anthill continued closer. By now, the hill was sitting right in front of him, the tiny red ants slowly gathering about, crawling across him, not stinging, but identifying him as a natural part of the landscape, unthreatened. It was to a point that Jiraiya had even seen honeybees pollinating his head. Jiraiya dared to say that Naruto's aptitude for Sage Energy had surpassed his by leaps and bounds. It was to the point that Naruto could absorb Sage Energy and enter Sage Mode by the time a dropped hat could hit the floor from a 3-foot fall. Naruto had truly grown stronger, and that was why Jiraiya had hoped to present him the letter he had gotten in the mail today, but he didn't. He couldn't yet. He didn't want to disturb Naruto at his time of meditation, so he waited and went back to the house to put on the pot and heat up the water to boiling point and begin cooking. The smell of the food, the edamame and other cooked veggies along with some delicious veal wafted through the air and awakened Naruto from his deep meditation. In actuality, not only was he focusing on Sage Mode, but he was also taking a page from Yagura's book, coming out here to focus and hone his mind to take over and control the Nine Tails. And he found that when he entered a partially unconscious state in meditation, that it lulled the Nine Tails into a passive state with which he could freely draw energy from without cost. Of course, the Nine Tails didn't very much enjoy waking up to find that its chakra was taken, but it couldn't exactly complain, as in return, Naruto provided it with an experience that brought it peace, like a babe being rocked to sleep. So he couldn't exactly hate Naruto for this, though it voiced his displeasure of being manipulated on an emotional level. Naruto didn't deny this, but he did admit that the Nine Tails would hardly miss such a small portion of chakra, and in return Naruto could soothe it at any point in time, which seemed like a fair trade-off. Either way, the time to meditate had come to an end. He awakened, and with a slight change in his breathing as signal to the other creatures, they vacated his body and returned to their homes. Naruto rose to his feet and made his way into the house, where he would wash up and sit by the table. Jiraiya would bring some food to the table and sit it down. Naruto noticed a letter sitting at his place at the table. He opened it and looked through its contents. "No way! They're holding a Chunin exams in Konoha?" Jiraiya nodded. "Indeed. And Hiruzen specifically asked me to let you join." Naruto read it over. "Oh, but it says that you require membership in a 3-man team to get in." Jiraiya sat down by the table to eat. "Indeed it does, but Hiruzen said that he would make a special exception for you, given the progress in your training that you made. He believes that you're well past Genin level by now, and that the upcoming exams should be a breeze. So what do you say? Do you want to go?" Naruto nodded, his grin from ear to ear, so wide that his eyes couldn't even open. And so they ate and rested for the rest of the day until the morning came, where they prepared for their trip back to Konoha. Naruto returned to Konoha with Jiraiya for the Chunin exams, where both realized that the village was packed to the brim with foreigners. There were people from all over, from Amegakure, Sunagakure, and the recently formed Otogakure. And those were just the ones that Naruto and Jiraiya noticed. Jiraiya would let Naruto go and sign up for the exams, while he himself would visit the Hokage. Jiraiya would step into Hiruzen's office. Despite how troublesome and stressful the organization of the exams should be, Hiruzen was in a fair mood, sitting at his desk, smoking a pipe, and humming an old melody from one of his favorite kabuki performances. He was looking over a piece of paper that seemed to be lined with information on the structure of the exams. Jiraiya walks in. Hiruzen looks up with a smile. "Ah, Jiraiya, you're here. Come in." Jiraiya steps in with a smile, taking a seat after being bidden by Hiruzen to do so. "How's it going, master?" Jiraiya said, invoking his mentor's title in a way meant to stroke nostalgia for old time's sake. Hiruzen let off a small chuckle at the mentioning of his old title. "All is well. Preparations for the Chunin exams have been going swimmingly. The work was properly delegated to the right parties, and attention to detail was maintained in an almost impressive way. Very little stress for me. I feel as if these exams will go off without a hitch." "That's good," Jiraiya said. Hiruzen then put the paper down and leaned forward on his desk to speak to his old friend. "And what of Naruto? Is he excited to have his chance? How has his training come along?" "His training has come along nicely. I dare say that he's a master of Sage Mode now. He's even better at harnessing Senjutsu than I am, and what's better is that he can do it at the drop of a hat. It's also helping him develop on his Jinchuriki side as well, and that's left him plenty of time and room to hone his other skills."
All in all, his raw potential mirrors that of Minato, if not exceeding it entirely. He's even managed to master the Flying Raijin, Minato's signature move. I feel like he'll do well in these exams, even if he's facing them all alone.
Hiruzen smiled.
I can't wait to see his performance.
Naruto was walking through the halls. He had officially signed up and was now waiting for the beginning of the exams. As soon as he entered the main waiting area, he paused, noting that so many eyes in the crowd had turned to look at him. This was obviously due to the fact that he was alone. He would enter the exam solo, which both boasted his strength and invited challenge. He hoped most people would just forget about him, elsewise this might not be as easy as he had hoped. Naruto waited along with the rest of those nearby until the first test was issued. Taking his seat within what appeared to be a classroom, he sat there and was presented with a piece of paper bearing questions. They were informed of how much time they would have to solve the test, and then the time began. Naruto signed and dated his paper and began to examine the questions on them.
You've gotta be kidding me,
he said within his own mind as he flipped over the paper to the back to see if there were other questions. Was this some kind of joke? What were these questions? Asking angles of attack, math on gauging the enemy's chakra, tactical maneuvers for large-scale battles, and not so basic shuriken jutsu physics. Had Konoha always been this strict, or were they expecting more from their Chunin these days?
Mr. Hiruzen was wrong. This is gonna be nowhere near a breeze.
He attempted his best to answer the questions.
Looks like I'm not gonna pass after all,
he said as he filled out the questions with little to no confidence. As time came to a close, he sat his pencil down. All the answers were completed, but whether they were right or not was up for the proctor to decide. That was when he was presented with a new curveball. There would be one final question, one to which all of the marbles would be bet, which seemed strange to Naruto.
Why force us to answer all these questions if they're completely invalidated by the last one?
The proctor informed them, however, that if they failed to answer this question correctly, they could never be Chunin and would have to remain Genin for the rest of their lives. Naruto had come this far and wasn't going to turn back now. He recalled Jiraiya stating to him that what made a shinobi truly strong was his heart, nothing else. Naruto assumed that meant titles as well, and considering as he was likely going to follow in Jiraiya's footsteps as a freelance contractor for Konoha, this designation as Chunin or Genin hardly mattered, so why not try anyway? As it turns out, this reasoning helped him pass, as Proctor Marino stated that the decision to take it in the face of losing everything was true shinobi behavior. Honestly, Naruto never felt like he would lose anything to begin with, so the pressure didn't really translate. It seemed Naruto was just the big exception to every scenario here. He would then move on to the Forest of Death. As soon as Naruto saw it, he knew he would be in his element. So much nature, his Sage Mode would be indispensable. He was presented with a Heaven Scroll and set up by the gates to enter. All he had to do was find an Earth Scroll and make it to the center area. A massive game of Capture the Flag. That's fine with Naruto because he loved this game. It was one of the training methods Jiraiya-sensei used. Naruto couldn't help but get excited. As soon as the gates opened, he entered the forest and immediately went into Sage Mode and made his way into the trees. With Sage Mode active, he could sense people and things nearby in the forest, which gave him an advantage, allowing him to play the part of both combat type and sensory type shinobi at the same time. He continued through the forest for a while, reaching out with his senses to find nearby people, and he eventually did. However, he sensed something different, a malevolent chakra, and senjutsu? Not strong, but enough. He began to make his way back in that direction, toward the chakra. But as he drew closer, he felt it dissipate, meaning someone had either died or they silenced their chakra, not wanting to be found. Naruto drew closer to the source out of curiosity and witnessed something. A girl sitting with a boy in her arms. She was crying and the boy was slumped over. Naruto came to a stop just about 10 feet from them. The girl gasped and pulled a kunai, pointing it at him. The posture of protection on the boy in her arms not changing in the slightest. Naruto raised his hands and lowered to a squatting stance to show non-aggression.
What happened? Is your friend okay?
The girl, of course, was hesitant. He looked over and saw their scroll.
Heaven. I have the same.
He showed her.
This means I have no reason to betray you. You don't have anything I need. And your friend there looks like he's seen better days. I'm practiced in first aid. Please, let me help.
The girl slowly lowered her kunai and dropped it before tightly hugging the boy. Naruto drew closer and gently pressed his fingers to the boy's neck, feeling within a pulse.
He's still alive. He's weak, but he's alive. Can you tell me what happened?
The girl spoke, not looking at Naruto.
I think he's been poisoned.
Naruto groaned.
Poison. That's not good. If so, time's of the essence. We need to get him somewhere safe to begin treatment.
Naruto lifted up the boy on his shoulders and together he and the girl made their way toward the nearest safe place. He would lay the boy down and start to look him over.
So where's the third part of your team, he asked her. Only 3-man squads are supposed to be entered.
The girl developed a sorrowful expression. Raijin. He was killed trying to protect us. Naruto looked down.
I'm sorry for your loss. Let me see if I can at least save this one.
The girl looked at Naruto with curiosity. Why are you doing this? He looked up.
Doing what?
Doing this, she said, pointing at the boy on the ground. Helping us. Naruto smiled.
I'm helping because it's the right thing to do. I want to become a Chunin, yeah, but it's not something I'm willing to kill or die for. And if I don't help someone in need when I can, then I'm partly responsible for whatever fate they suffer.
The girl thinks about it for a moment. My name is Sakura, and that's Sasuke. Naruto offers a gentle smile.
Hi, Sakura. My name's Naruto. Can you tell me how Sasuke was poisoned?
She pointed to his shoulder. He was bitten at around the neck. Naruto pulled the collar of Sasuke's shirt down a bit to see the black marks on his neck.
Ah, it looks like a curse mark?
Sakura seemed startled. Curse mark? Naruto nodded.
A type of fuinjutsu that contains within it a ninjutsu with a specific function. Generally something not of the user's own will, though there are differing types.
Sakura asked if Naruto could make out what kind of mark it was and what it did. Naruto further examined it.
I can't figure it out, but if it was added by an enemy, particularly one that didn't shy away from killing a member of your team, it's probably malevolent. I'm gonna place a seal over it to stop its function.
Naruto placed his hand over the mark and began to apply a new seal. The evil sealing method. Eventually the seal was covered by the sealing formula. Naruto took a breath and sighed in relief.
That should cover it. Most likely the seal will be inert for a time, but it's best that you probably bow out of the exams and make your way to the center of the map, or back to the edge to seek more help for your friend.
Sakura nodded. She stood. Can I move him? He nodded.
Do you need help getting back, or will you be okay on your own?
She thought for a moment. We'll probably be okay on our own. Naruto then stood.
Okay, good luck.
He went to leave, but Sakura stopped him. Please, wait. He looked back, questioning what it was. She offered him something. He took it and looked it over. It was an earth scroll. He looked at her out of curiosity.
What's this?
She explained it to him. It's an earth scroll. It was taken by our teammate from our attacker before he was killed. I doubt we'll use it now, and you helped us, so I want to reward you. Naruto looked at the scroll for a moment and smiled.
Thank you.
He then bid them both farewell, though Sasuke was too unconscious to notice, and then he left. He jumped through the trees and headed toward the center, where he would open the scrolls and be congratulated for a mission well done. With this, he would advance to the third and final stage, a two-part exhibition match. The first part consisted of him battling against Kiba and Akamaru, though the battle was short-lived, as Naruto already had an unfair advantage with his expansive library of techniques he had learned from his master. So his victory was all but assured. Naruto would then receive his month off as normal. He would return to Jiraiya, who would commend him on how far he had come and how strong he had gotten. It was then that Naruto would explain what happened to Jiraiya. He would mention that a boy, Sasuke Uchiha, had been attacked and branded with a curse mark by someone he sensed could use Senjutsu. This caught the attention of Jiraiya.
Senjutsu, you say?
Naruto nodded. Jiraiya thought about it for a moment.
Can you draw what the curse mark looked like?
Naruto took a piece of paper and began to draw out the 3 tomoe that had been placed on Sasuke's shoulder.
I don't recognize this technique. It's new. How was it applied? The girl said he was bitten on the neck.
Jiraiya thought about it harder.
This sounds like Orochimaru.
Naruto's gaze grew more intense.
Orochimaru? Your former ally who joined the Akatsuki?
Jiraiya tapped his finger to his nose as if to say that Naruto was spot on.
But why would an Akatsuki member be here in Konoha?
Jiraiya did not know the answer to that, but it couldn't be good.
We should inform Hiruzen of this.
And so they went and told Hiruzen of Orochimaru's presence, which Hiruzen confirmed by stating that they had found 3 dead bodies of contestants in the Chunin exams, their faces having been stolen. They'd been dead for 3 days, well before the exams had even started.
Why would Orochimaru come to Konoha? Naruto would ask. And moreover, why would he join the Chunin exams and then put a curse mark on Sasuke?
Jiraiya wasn't sure either. Hiruzen spoke.
I know he was very interested in Kekkei Genkai before he left the village, so perhaps it has something to do with the Uchiha's Sharingan. Considering how rare it's become since the Uchiha downfall, there's no doubt that he would want to take it for himself.
Jiraiya thought about it for a time.
Where Orochimaru currently is remains a mystery, but we know that he wants to take Sasuke. He failed last time, which means he'll likely try it again, so all we have to do is wait for Orochimaru to make a move and then take him down.
And so that's what they did. Naruto would sneak into Sasuke's hospital room and secretly place a tag on him for his flying Raijin Jutsu and then leave. They would then keep an eye on Sasuke's hospital room from an adjacent building both night and day. All the while, Naruto continued to meditate. As they watched, eventually they witnessed a group of shinobi enter his hospital room. Jiraiya would come up to Naruto and tap him on the shoulder.
Naruto, get up, it's happening, they're taking him.
Naruto would get up and come to the window to see a group of 4 shinobi leaving the hospital room. After this, Naruto and Jiraiya would make their way onto the roof to view where these shinobi were going. Was Sasuke ever in any real danger? Probably not. He was being used as bait, yes, but he was marked. If at any time Naruto and Jiraiya ever lost track, they could simply teleport straight to him. They didn't expect that to happen though, of course. Until it did. Suddenly, 3 of the 4 shinobi peeled off and ambushed Jiraiya and Naruto, realizing that they were being followed. Naruto and Jiraiya would then be cornered by 3 members of the Sound 4, Jirobo, Toyuya, and Kidomaru. Jiraiya is forced to face Jirobo, and Naruto is forced to face Kidomaru, and Toyuya stands at a distance, summoning her Doki to do her bidding. Jiraiya jumps back as Jirobo begins his assault. He weaves hand signs and fires a fireball jutsu, but the warrior just rushes through. The group enters their curse-marked second stage right from the get-go as they wish to finish this as quickly as possible to avoid drawing any attention and risk upsetting their master. Jirobo tackles Jiraiya, but Naruto, seeing this, utilizes the flying Raijin jutsu to get Jiraiya and kick Jirobo off of him. Kidomaru, however, forms his bow and arrow out of his spider sticky gold technique and fires an arrow at Naruto, who narrowly dodges it with senjutsu. The Doki then come in, 2 targeting Jiraiya and 1 targeting Naruto. Naruto has a hard time pushing these back, and Jiraiya has an issue as well. They seem to be on the ropes. The Sound 4 are certain that their victory is all but assured. To ensure that it comes to pass decisively, however, Toyuya begins to use her flute to cast a genjutsu over them, which starts to work. Even Jiraiya is caught by this. However, just as Naruto begins to fall for this, something snaps and Naruto enters his version 2 form and breaks free. With the pure power presented to him, he utterly slaughters the Doki, freeing himself and Jiraiya. From there, he jumps straight at Jirobo. Unable to dodge in time, Jirobo finds a hole punched right through him. Kidomaru attempts to protect himself by covering his flesh in the gold he produces, hoping that it'll offer enough protection. However, when Naruto gets a hold of it, he begins to rip it apart, startling Kidomaru. Naruto then severs Kidomaru's head with his claws. He then rushes at Toyuya, who begins to halt him for a moment with genjutsu. However, she did not account for there being 2 consciousnesses within Naruto, and so Naruto breaks free and ends up slaughtering her as well. Jiraiya is left on the ground from the attack. He sees Naruto drawing closer.
"Shoot!" he exclaims within himself. "Killed by my own apprentice. Who would have ever imagined that be the way I die?"
Naruto's clawed hand reaches out toward him. Jiraiya closes his eyes and prepares for the worst. Suddenly, that claw retracts into a hand. The entire form ends. Naruto pulls Jiraiya to his feet. Jiraiya is confused.
"What happened?"
Naruto scratches the back of his head with a nervous smile.
"I've been doing my own training."
Jiraiya was startled.
"You mastered version 2?
A shy Naruto playfully sticks his tongue out in a lighthearted fashion. Jiraiya wants to hug the boy, but now is not the time. Sasuke is still in trouble. Jiraiya turns to Naruto.
"Can you teleport us to Sasuke's location?"
Naruto nods. He grabs Jiraiya's hand and raises 2 fingers to his chin. Suddenly, he teleports. When they reach the other end of it, they're standing before a startled Orochimaru. They look around and realize that they were in the abandoned Uchiha compound. Not a place many would come looking. Orochimaru looks to Sakon and Ukon with a sneer. "You led them straight to me, fool." The conjoined twins seem to prostrate themselves and beg for forgiveness from their master. Orochimaru stands. "What's done is done. It makes no difference." He looks to Sakon and Ukon. "Deal with the boy." He then looks to Kabuto. "You're on me." Kabuto nods and steps forward to face Jiraiya. Sakon and Ukon would then step up to face Naruto. Naruto would quickly enter Sage Mode to increase his strength against them. The 2 would kick him, but Naruto would manage to block the attack. Or so he thought, until 2 more legs appeared and struck him, knocking him back. He rolled across the ground and skid to a stop. He managed to stand. As he stood there, he formed a Rasengan and rushed the duo. All the while, Sasuke was starting to stir. Naruto would attempt to strike them with a Rasengan, but they dodged and jumped out of the way. Naruto would smash the ground with it, waking Sasuke. Sasuke would then look around and notice that he was in the Uchiha compound, and then notice the battle going on. Ukon suddenly leaves Sakon's body and attempts to enter Naruto, where he plans to destroy him on a cellular level. However, one thing he didn't take into account was the Nine Tails that existed within him. The Nine Tails chakra would begin attacking Ukon's cells, causing severe damage not too far removed from what used to happen to Naruto whenever he entered the version 2 cloak. Ukon would retreat back to Sakon's body to heal, and the 2 would be phased. Naruto would then form a Rasengan. Naruto linked up with Sasuke, who by this time had already decided which side was the one trying to harm him and had formed his Chidori. Together, the 2 rushed Sakon and Ukon, with Naruto smashing his Rasengan into Sakon's skull, crushing it, while Sasuke's Chidori pierced through Ukon's. The shared body of Sakon and Ukon would fall to the ground lifeless. Naruto would nod in acknowledgement to Sasuke, and the two would turn to Orochimaru and Kabuto, who were currently double-teaming Jiraiya pretty bad. It was obvious that Jiraiya was losing. Orochimaru spoke. "Face it, Jiraiya, I've always been superior to you. You have no chance of defeating me, so why not just accept your fate and die?" Jiraiya wipes the blood from his lip. "We used to be a team, Orochimaru. You know that quitting isn't in my vocabulary. Besides, it looks like I have help." Suddenly, by the time Kabuto could turn to look, Naruto had planted a fist right into his jaw, knocking him back against the wall. Sasuke would then form a Chidori with his curse mark active and rush Orochimaru, pushing the Chidori through his heart. Orochimaru would cough out blood and hit the ground, falling on his knees. Sasuke would remove his hand from the gaping wound. Jiraiya would catch Orochimaru as he fell back. Jiraiya looked at him. "Why did you have to do this, Orochimaru? Why did you have to betray the village? Betray me?" Orochimaru looked up. Because they were choking my potential. I needed to grow stronger if I was ever going to fulfill my dreams, but now it's too late." Orochimaru's head then fell back. Jiraiya would mourn for his friend. All the while, Naruto would be there by his side, his hand on his shoulder to offer his mentor some comfort. Jiraiya would look back at Naruto, and for a moment, he thought he saw Minato staring back at him. With the threat of Orochimaru ended, the Chunin exams continued on without a hitch. Naruto would continue on to first face Neji, who he would soundly beat with his many techniques. He later would go on to face Gaara, and after causing a grievous injury to him, he fled the arena along with his siblings, thereby forfeiting the match. Naruto would be crowned the champion and would go on to receive the title of Chunin from the Hokage himself. This was more than earned, Hiruzen believed, and would have been the result even if Naruto had decided not to continue on with the Chunin exams. After all, Naruto had helped hunt down and defeat Orochimaru, an S-rank missing nin. As a Chunin, Naruto would be presented with the flak jacket and a certificate that stated that he was of Chunin rank. Jiraiya watched this ceremony and felt pride in his heart. He had stood there 2 times before this, once when he himself was granted the rank of Chunin, and once more when Minato had been granted the same rank. His heart overflowed with emotion, and he nearly found himself crying as he watched Naruto claim both the vest and the certificate. He couldn't be any prouder. It was as if Naruto were his own son, and he was so happy to see him growing into the shinobi he knew that he could be. He was impressed by how much he had grown, and how similar to Minato Naruto was. Not to mention, he had gained control of the version 2 cloak all on his own, without any additional guidance. Naruto truly was Minato's son, and was proving to not only himself or the village, but to the world that he was truly becoming more and more worthy of the title of Hokage. He hoped that one day he just might achieve it, but in his heart, Jiraiya felt another feeling. Looking at the back of Naruto's head and then into his sky blue eyes, when he turned back to smile and show Jiraiya his new certificate, he seemed to recall in his heart that the Toad Sage Gamamaru had told him that one day he would train the Child of Prophecy who would lead the entire world to peace. And now, Jiraiya truly felt in his heart that this prophecy was being fulfilled in Naruto. A smile came to his face as he walked closer to his student and put his arm around him.
"How about we celebrate by going out to get some ramen?"
And I think this is a good place to call it quits. I hope you enjoyed the story. I've always loved the dynamic between Jiraiya and Naruto, and I truly do love this story we're weaving together. Still, I'm sorry that I made you all wait so long for this next part. I promise I'll try to remember not to let another 3 months go by without another installment. Thanks for your patience. If you have any more ideas, critiques, or perhaps want to tell me where you want this series to go, leave a comment and let me know. Until then, peace out.
Did you enjoy our video? Well, then be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.